everybody. My name is Mark. I'm the Executive Director here at San Francisco Towers, and I have the honor of introducing Sally. Sally, we talked to each other about a month ago, and she said, would you mind introducing me to my next reading? I said, absolutely, because most of the times I think I've been here for a little over a year now, and I come and sneak in the back and I listen for as long as I can, and then I run off to my next meeting, get a few moments of zen, and but I'm going to read a little of Sally's extensive biography, and just it's really kind of astonishing to me. We were talking yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
We were talking yesterday, and Sally's wondering if she should send some of her children off to boarding school or not. And her children being her poetry that she has living in her apartment, and she has stacks and stacks and stacks of journals, and she doesn't know if she should let some of them go off to storage, which I call boarding school, and if she's calling them her children. So, just kind of a voracious writer of poetry, and I think, just looking in her eyes right now, I think she's probably just written about 5 poems from this short experience. I could tell from our discussion yesterday too that she was talking about experiences and all these experiences she's had in her life, and how they come out in poetry, and just that creative mind that I love seeing in the community, and that she shares this in the community at multiple levels in other communities. And I wanted to read some of her biography because it's really impressive, and we're hoping that this kind of attention and introduction, and this is a great turnout. This is an awesome turnout, and I appreciate you all coming. But we want to see more. And at this, in this environment and what we do here, sometimes writing and sometimes expression is really important. And it's writers sometimes are lonely, but writing can bring us together as we share our writing, as we share our poetry, as we share our words. I think it can be a strength that brings us all together. And Sally and I were talking yesterday how we can get more people involved in poetry. So a little bit about Sally. Sally Love Saunders is a widely published poet, lecturer, workshop leader, and author of 6 poetry books. And I brought mine that she has let me have, and a lot of you I know have some. And how many books have you published?
How many books? 8 books and about 400 poems.
A lot.
I've written about 8,000 out of 8,000 poems.
8,000.
Going strong.
8,006 as of right now.
No, I have them in Dropbox, and I'm monitoring them very closely.
She wrote her first poem at the age of 6 and has pursued that passion throughout her life. Studying in Japan after college and during travel which introduced her to Nehru in India and Albert Schweitzer in Africa, as well as teaching stints amongst migrant farm laborers, children in Appalachia, and time teaching on the Navajo reservation. Her conviction that poetry offers a universal way to express what is in your soul is remained unchallenged. As one of the founding fathers of the National Association of Poetry Therapy, Sally has spoken at many conferences familiarizing healthcare professionals with her unique approach to teaching poetry. She lectured on the healing power of poetry at the University of California Medical Center in San Francisco here. Also, she gave a talk to doctors on poetry therapy at a poetry conference at St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco. I want to step ahead and read part of, since Sally has been here at San Francisco Towers, she has hosted conference calls to read her poetry through the Front Porch Social Connection program. She particularly enjoys the interaction with audiences and benefits from their enthusiasm and inspiration. Having that monthly event inspires her to write new poetry about her travels, nature, and current events. Sally has developed fun techniques to help individuals get in touch with their own unique creativity. She also is interested in working with children and was a Johnny Appleseed poet, getting them to think of poetry while playing games and moving around the country to inspire their creativity. Sally's poetry and articles have appeared in over 350 recognized publications, both literary and scholarly journals, as well as periodicals such as the New York Times International, the London Times, the Denver Post, the Christian Science Monitor. Sally has 7 poetry books published and has received many prizes for her poetry. With that, I just wanted to thank Sally for her service here at San Francisco Towers, and I also did want to give a plug for her 1-hour poetry conference calls that she hosts, and she has schedules, I think, right up here to
Yeah,
grab
I have
one.
flyers here for anybody it's so easy, all you have to do is dial. Remember old-fashioned dialing? You don't poke it. Anyway, you're all invited.
So please get involved with that, and without further ado, Sally.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Wow. Oh, ooh. Welcome, everybody. So welcome. It's so good to see you here. Oh, I could spend the whole hour just basking in my joy in having you here. Oh, I want to tell you, I love to travel, and I want to translate to you what I am as a traveler. And the best, I was thinking, how can I explain to them? When I was a kid, I went gold panning, and I got a lot of dirt, and a lot of grasses, and a lot of plants, and I shook the gold panner, and then you end up with kernels of gold. And that to me is what I do when I travel. I take with me my paper all the time, no matter where I am, what I'm doing, and I write. I'm never without cooking up something to write. And then I put them here, and I'm so glad to share them with you. And now it's going to be your turn, and I want you to come and meet with me and tell me about your journeys, because I love hearing about other people's travels. So we're going to start off going to Greenland. So fasten your seatbelts. Fasten your seatbelts. Fasten your seatbelts. I've wanted to go to Greenland since I was a little kid. Since I was a little kid, I wanted to go to Greenland. And so I went. July 7th, 2022. I've always been fascinated with north of the Arctic Circle. I first went there when I was 20, when Reykjavik was just a little ghost town. And to get to Europe, you would go to Reykjavik and then go to Europe because they wanted to get your money there in Reykjavik. And I would go out taking buses to get to north of the Arctic Circle. I did. I went in buses to get to, because they didn't have tours and cruises there then. I loved it. At the airport, every detail attended to. I want to go. Now fun and freedom begins. Freedom from busyness of packing and planning and saying goodbye. Now walking on the jetway, the flying begins and my wings are spread wide. Wider than any airplane wings. It doesn't matter if delays or cancellations, I'm already flying. It will be a good trip, feeling it's vibrating from my bones. And I'm the kind of traveler, if you get bumped off a plane and they put you on another plane, who cares? I'm going to get there, and I love airports. Put me in an airport and I'm in heaven. Yeah. Going on vacation, packing glasses to see all what is good with world, leaving behind a pointed finger, criticizing what is wrong. Boat to Greenland. Wait till you hear what I have to tell you. On the boat to Greenland, off the far distance, icebergs sit as if big fetus in the womb of the fog. It's a huge fetus while fluids in the womb nourish it. And then guess what happened? Guess.
You hit an iceberg.
Has 4 letters. Guess what happened? Fall. I fell. I fell. I did. I fell. And I had a classic head injury. I hit my head. And so the Greenland boat was about to leave. So I had to decide room and miss the boat. No. Am I gonna get on the boat realizing I won't see a CAT scan for about 11 days? Well, which do you think I took?
The truck.
What?
The truck.
Yeah! You, kindred spirit, you. We're in the now, planning is now, we're in the now apex of trip. Trip which was off at a distance like an accordion. Trip is folded into the now. I'm feeling like I'm riding on the tip of the bubbling water. Traveling is super living. The cream on top of the cream. I feel like a circus performer walking on tall stilts, arms flying wide. This is premium living, better than packing, even better than original wish to go. The now is sparkling, sending out diamonds. How to fall. How to fall. There I went again, fell. Humpty Dumpty me. Humpty Dumpty me, how to fall. But I do not need all the king's horses and the king's men to put me together again. I can do it myself. On arriving to Greenland. On arriving to Greenland, the carnage of broken pieces of icebergs, battlefields of bits and pieces of icebergs, a battlefield of wounded icebergs. What an entrance to Greenland. Now don't forget, I've been going to those parts, not to Greenland, but way up north of the Arctic Circle, places like Whitethorn, names I can't even remember. And I remember the icebergs being a lot bigger. And this is in my lifetime. And every time I've gone back, they're shrinking. So if you want to see icebergs, ladies and gentlemen, go immediately, because they are shrinking. Shrinking. We should have a tower's trip to see icebergs. How's that sound? Yeah. Relaxing on endless sea of ocean. Relaxing on endless sea of ocean, covered with quilt of endless time. Plenty of ocean, plenty of time. I'm floating on warm, cozy white iceberg. We went on a ship called Hurtigruten. Have you ever heard of Hurtigruten? You have? Yeah. It's a Norwegian cruise ship that's a scientific expedition. They have a science lab and science lectures, and you look at everything through a microscope. You look at seaweed, you look at feathers, you look at water, the warm water connecting with the cold water. And it's just, and then they even have some scientific boats going off of the main boat where people go and collect things. I didn't sign up for that. I figured one fall of the trip was enough. Sailing by a few icebergs, the lingering Indians out west. We have killed their relatives and are still doing so. Natural beauty. Natural beauty orchestrates my soul to loud percussion noises, celebrating infinity and the vastness of the universe. You know, we would get off at these, I can't remember, Nuuk's the only one I remember, that's the capital. But we would get off, and in order to get off the boat to get to the land, you had to go down a lot of stairs, up a lot of stairs, down a lot of stairs. And I don't do stairs, but somehow I did it. Down a lot of stairs, up a lot of stairs, and then you go, walk, walk, walk. And then you're on the land. But you got to do it backwards to come back to the boat. Okay? So I looked at this. Oh my! And I thought, do I want to live here the rest of my life? Yeah, that might not be bad. But then I thought of you all, and I didn't want to leave you all. So I'm standing there looking very wobbly, you know, like this. And this angel out of nowhere came. This man came, I don't know his name, I don't know if he speaks English. He said, "We go." And he took me by the arm, and we sailed down the steps and up the steps and down the steps and up the steps and down the steps. And I love to feel rain tapping on me. Well, what happened in this boat was, I was always there writing, you know. I must have looked very strange to these people, because I always had my nose buried, you know. Wherever I was, whatever I was doing, I was writing my poetry. So the program director came and said, what do you do? We hear you're a poet. I said, oh yes, I'm still writing. And she said, would you read it to the boat? I said, sure. So I read it to the people on the boat. Then they decided they were going to have a poetry corner. And they would have my poetry there, and it would be a space where people could come and write poetry.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice, yeah. On the boat, crawling along as if a chunky caterpillar. Here we are on the boat, chunky caterpillar, inching along. In a lazy pace, the fat old mountains stand up lovingly, watch us. No, I gave my writing priority, like we'd be walking into the dining room, and all of a sudden I'd get an inspiration. And I'd have to get out of the line, you know, without being rude. So sometimes I pretended I had a cough. Or I have to get a glass of anything, but the poetry was number one for me, every single inch of the trip. As a toddler, I'd struggle to go to the ocean, which was true. My aunt had to get a clothesline and attach it to me, because here I am in diapers running down to the ocean all the time. But as a disabled senior, which I am now, I'm still struggling to travel. Uncluttered. Uncluttered. What isn't here in Greenland, no skyscrapers, no loud ambulances, no billboards, no litter. It is what isn't here I enjoy. I enjoy the nothingness. I enjoy the nothingness. Injured glaciers. Injured glaciers scattered reminds me of war scenes. Global warming is slaughtering, which was once huge glaciers. You know, we would get to these docks, and it was a big event for these people, because I got there just before a lot of the tourist trips started going to Greenland, and the people would all come and stare at us. You know, we were like, the entertainment, and it was just so lovely. And then I just have so many memories, and I sat at a table with a couple from New Jersey. And there were all these people staring at us. And so I thought, well, I can look at them too. If they're going to look at me, I'll look at them. And it was so interesting what they were doing. They had stalks of celery. I'm not kidding. This big they were chewing on, because it doesn't get dark at night. And they would have cabbages that were huge, because, there's no, at 11 o'clock at night, I think it's probably bedtime. Usually it'd be about 9:30 here. 11:30 there, the sun gets around to thinking of setting. Love having lots of paper around. Love having lots of paper around. As insurance, there will be landing pads for my poems. Poems pouring out of me, flooding endlessly, looking desperately for landing pads. I would have, what I'm always afraid of, say I have a notebook and I'm writing it and then I leave it behind. Well, I would have paper around my neck, I would have a little pouch of paper, and then carry a big thing. So I didn't miss a beat. White wool waves knit across the seascape. The waves, white yarn, fluffy and agile, knitting across the seascape. Yikes, I'm old. Yikes, I'm old. I'm old. Yikes, I'm old. Used to be men would flirt with me, but now they say, be careful. Watch your step. I appreciate their attention, but I prefer flirts to safety measures. creepy thoughts enter into the dark chamber of my soul when I let go. Oh, I got COVID on this cruise, but it was the perfect place to get COVID. The boat was rocking me, and I had this duvet, I had this bed that was heaven on earth. It was the kind of bed you didn't want to get out of in the morning. So I had 3 days being rocked by the ocean, and I had a duvet cover. And I just kind of enjoyed the ride, you know. I just enjoyed the ride of being rocked by the waves and cozied up by the duvet. I got over it pretty quick though, thank goodness, but I did have it there. My eyes may be seeing water no one else has ever seen. As the boat plows along, virgin waters are parted. The gorgeousness of Greenland. The gorgeousness of greenery. It is beautiful, nothing more than swells my heart. No high rises, no litter, no graffiti. Instead, many smiling people, fresh air and quiet, plenty of quiet. Nature dominates. You know, I kept listening, I'm so used to, living here with sirens all the time and stuff, so that my ears, where it was real quiet, kept expecting something. Do you ever get that feeling when you're someplace real quiet in the country and you keep expecting to hear a siren or something? White clouds changing. White clouds changing to ridges of mountains, like a white beard clings to an old man's chin. It is my curiosity that propels me through old age to meadows. Icebergs melting. Icebergs melting. Blue blood, iceberg shrinking. I want to put my hand on it and say, I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry, iceberg, for the machines killing you. Sick icebergs. Sick icebergs want to touch them and give them healing energy. There's a global warming pandemic caused by too much human neglect. Cruising through Greenland. Glaciers crying in pain as they are shrinking. Surely this pain hurts. Warm waters eroding them, warmth slicing away at them. I'm on a boat. Waves massaging me while a line of skinny clouds watch. A line of long massaging strokes from the clouds along my back, so calming. Ocean holds me in her long arms. Ocean holds me in her long arms and hums to me, singing me a lullaby, and strokes my head. My crevices fit perfectly into ocean's deep crevices. Ocean hums and sings soft tunes to me for a long time. As a generous mother and a generous grandmother, I'm a tiny toddler being soothed and rocked by my mother, grandmother, the ocean. The trip is over. Oh, but I got other trips, don't go away. The trip is over. I play back favorite memories, adding them to the scrapbook in my mind. Maybe it was a perfect duvet or an arm a stranger gave me, then vanished. One memory page was about a perfect bed for sleeping. I always slept well in it. Many fluffy little waves running up to greet me, yapping and scurrying with excitement at my presence. Now we're going to Maui. Yeah, I was just there, and these poems are my loving tribute to Maui. And, wow. All I can say is, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was there, what's this, February 2nd, 2023. Maui breezes pat my cheeks as if I was an adorable baby bouncing on knee. Or an affectionate breeze enjoying finding a shady spot where there is just breeze and I. Breeze patting my cheeks and me tonight looks like a sunny side up egg that is melting down yellow into the clouds of mashed potatoes. Off to the distance, it looks like Rainbow School off to the distance. Bright colors gathered to learn how to be rainbows. Perhaps this gathering of colors is children's rainbows waiting to learn how to bow and arch gradually in the sky. Shiny white bird. Shiny white bird looks as though broken off from white fluffy clouds and is flying, bird leaving its homeland, the big white clouds. Yeah, I just couldn't believe that TV, the very places where we had sat or we walked, or the banyan tree that gave me so much shade. It's there, but it's transformed into a skinny banyan tree. No, I don't want that. I want it to be the way it was. But I know I should take a shower and floss my teeth, and drink water. But instead, I choose to pause and let nature do its action. And I will simply watch and enjoy the fronds, very tall palm trees, mixing the clouds into beautiful patterns. And rainbows struggling to be born. The rainbow crests its head and clouds part for the birthing process. And wind fingers running its fingers through arched hedges. It's called bud. Worry thoughts. Worry thoughts like nails being hammered into my brain. I turn to nature for refreshment. And the birds sing to me, and the faraway waves a silver greeting. I'm so glad Laura's here. She very kindly sometimes puts my poems in the newsletter. And I want to publicly thank you for that, Laura.
My pleasure.
And it really, it brings me a lot of joy because people go, oh, I didn't know you were a poet. And I want to say, well, what did you think of poet? But I guess I think a poet is, I don't know, it'd be interesting sometime to hear what people think poets are. They're all different, but anyway, it's a nice thing you do. And then people talk about their relationships with poetry. So it's a, nature is healing me. Nature's healing me. The birds parading in front of me, waving, jumping out of the ocean unannounced. Surprising, nature heals, for it's not healing, in medical waiting rooms, steel instruments, testing parts of it. Woo, not healing. Clouds look like a monster crawling across the sky. I've become a stranger. I've become a stranger to myself, totally content to do nothing at all. Nothing at all, but nothing. No hunger for activity. My mother, on her calendar, she had a monthly calendar, and she would mark on it, cross out dates, certain dates. And if you asked her what she wanted to, if she could do something, she said, no, that's me time. That's my time to do nothing. Oh, but there's this show, or there's this, no. It's my sacred time to do nothing. So then I used to take her around to poetry workshops, and I got her writing poetry. So she would fill up her calendar with her sacred time writing poetry, and then she wrote a book.
Wow.
Yeah, for her 80th birthday, gave everybody a copy of her book for her birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. Love just sitting here with waves doing all the effort. The breezes hum to me while people swim around me in colorful colors and different shapes. Have zero steam, chomping to be used for activity. My energy gas tank is empty, relying on nature to feed me. Laura published one of my poems about how wonderful it is to just relax, to do nothing, take it easy. You know, people say, take it easy. How do you take it easy? So Laura published a poem about it. You know, I sent her all kinds of things about activities and everything. She published the one I wrote about. Taking it easy. Yeah.
It's my projection, I'm sure. That's what I need to do.
I need to learn how. Doctors say to me, take it easy. Ooh, what's that? Or what's the other thing doctors say? Take it easy, I don't know, but it's Greek to me. Beautifully green grass. Beautifully green grass. I'm slurping in the nutrients of the green nutrients. Beautifully green grass. Loving so much. We're still in Hawaii. The breeze is massaging me softly and briskly. Non-stop massage. No time count. Breeze is tickling me and gently pinching me up and down. Loving so much. Like the breeze is massaging softly and briskly. Non-stop massage. No time count. Breeze is tickling me, gently pinching me up and down. Breezes run to me, laughing, giggling like children did in India. I remember in India, children would come out of the woodwork, the bushes, and run, you know. That's what the breezes in Hawaii did. Enjoy sitting. Enjoy sitting and letting waves do all the work. The waves run to me, then retreat. They run to me, checking in to see if I'm okay. When they see I'm okay, writing poetry, they quickly go as not to disturb me. But soon return or send their children to simply check in on me. I really feel that way sometimes when I'm walking on the beach and the waves come in to see me. Do you ever feel that way? Like they're happy to see you. Where have you been? Now waves are resting. They are not visiting me at all. They are not sending messages to check in on me for now. I guess lakes are hermit waves. Lakes are hermit waves. The water does not reach out at all, ever. Now waves are simply humming and enjoying the sound of their own humming. Am I doing this the sound thing okay?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, good, I forgot to ask. All right. Having so much fun here, I feel like a bird in a bird bath. I'm so glad you're okay. Really? Oh, there's treats afterwards. Delicious bear claws and cinnamon rolls and your favorite treats. Sitting by the harbor, like sitting in a theater watching the show of a swimmer. And a very white full sails on long boats. The water over and over, licking the rocks as though the rocks were delicious popsicles. Seagulls sitting on top of the water are watching it all too. They prefer to just sit as I'm doing, just sitting and watching the bay perform. White sound out. The waves, white sound, out my thoughts. Here I hear the waves, not my thoughts, which is a relief. Want to write about how I want to get tangled up in clouds and roll all over me. Enjoy warm blue Caribbean waters of the sky, and I want to float on white chunky clouds to toss into, and also white chunky clouds and cloud banks to toss into. Yes, I want to roll in the clouds, sleep on mattresses of perfect clouds, slide on icy clouds, and even eat candy cotton clouds. I want to write. Now we're in Big Sur. Big Sur. Oh, I hear they're having their problems too down there with highways closed. And seems whenever I go someplace, the next thing I know they're having problems. I went up to Paradise, California to see the Grand Canyon. Remember Paradise?
Yeah.
Next thing I know,
It's gone.
go to Hawaii. Next thing,
Conflict.
Big Sur, same thing. Oh, I shouldn't tell you that. You might get security, put me down in the basement. hosing around my ears. Waves come to shore. Waves come to shore, all dressed up in party attire. The waves heard I was coming, so waves put on fancy diamond necklaces and painted glistening fingernails, parade of yellow flowers in my honor. My mind is a bulletin board. Yeah, my mind's a bulletin board. With vivid memories thumbtacked with big thumbtacks, holding memories secure throughout seasons of time. Puzzling what memories survive on the bulletin board and puzzling why other memories don't survive on the bulletin board. Stream is joyous again. Stream is joyous again. Water fills it with joy and movement to live. Even white spurts of water as X-foam surviving, kicking. I'm on a jolly trip. Many short conversations with others passing by, each like a piece of colorful confetti on the fly. I'm the kind of traveler who likes to talk to everybody. And I get these marvelous connections. We were, remember in Greenland, we were sitting on a bench, this couple said, oh, come sit with us. It was like we were best friends immediately. I guess because we had travel in common, but there's just a chemistry about traveling and talking to other people. So I really enjoy it as a sport. And I'm always thinking how I can make the connection better and quicker and not miss any. I'm on a jolly trip. I'm on a jolly trip. Many short conversations with others passing by, each like a piece of colorful confetti on the fly. Trees teach me how to bend and be strong, even when stripped of bark. And leaves have died. Naked trees, you remain gorgeous in the rain and cold. Teach me how to bend and be strong, even when stripped of bark. Rounded hills. The rounded hills along the road as we drive along breathe deeper when they see us. Their deep breathing erect trees more. I'm really glad, I'm just sitting here just purring. And I got big goosebumps. I mean, I'm seeing so many, so many friends here and new people I want to meet, and it's really nice. And Helen, who worked here, came back to hear me.
Nice, really nice.
And Mark just offered her a job. He didn't say what the job was. It might be washing dishes.
Yeah.
Rap music by my side. Rap music by my side. Music gold water flowing into my ears. Sometimes car complains of having to work harder, climbing hills. Mostly car hums, joyous hum. Moon riding on my lap. Wherever I go, I look up, oh, there he is. The moon seems to follow me around, like some kind of Cocker Spaniel puppy. I don't have a dog here, but when I go out in the world, I have a pet dog up in the sky. Moon riding on my lap. Moon riding on my lap. Now has become a kid, becoming bashful and is hiding behind a cloud. Patiently, I will wait for its return, either tonight or next month. Moon riding on my lap. I want to tell you, we were traveling someplace, and we got out just to go for a walk. We were going to the walk was longer, and then I wanted to get a cup of coffee. I didn't have any paper. So this was in a Pasta Pomodoro place. So I said to the waitress, do you have a napkin? They didn't have napkins around. So I started writing. Then I need another napkin. And I said, oh, please excuse me. She brings me a pile of napkins this high. So during COVID, I went back to try to find her. I wanted to find that angel that had supplied me with paper, but she'd gone. But that was a really nice experience. So I wanted to share it with you. Moon likes to visit me. with a big straw and be filled with protein moon energy of calmness and serenity. I am 6 years old. I'm 6 years old. That has been trapped in a metal costume of an old lady. World, I am not really an old lady, but a 6-year-old trapped in a stiff metal costume of an old lady. Wish I could wiggle out of it and be free. Now we're in Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I grew up on a farm that was built in 1717. And we had a secret passageway to get away from the Indians. And it was farmed. I mean, I used to go help with the hay, and we had working horses and goats and sheep, and it was wonderful, you know, like whenever I wanted a pet, no problem, because there was John, the Irish gardener, loved animals, and he'd always take in a peacock or a ferret or a rabbit. So my friends all loved to come out to this farm, which was kind of like a zoo. Anyway, it now belongs to the Natural Lands Trust, I'm happy to say, and they have preserved it. So I go back every fall, and what do you think I do? Get people to write poetry. And they're used to it. Oh, here comes Aunt Sally. I guess we better sharpen our pencils. And I'm going to go back this fall. And so the Natural Lands Trust, they're going to have a lot of their people that'll come, and my family will come. And it's just really a nice event, because it's like going back in time. And the old barn with the basketball hoop is still there. And so I always go back right at the most colorful time of the year. Sun squirting out. Sun squirting out light shafts as it sets. Bright and gold quills, pickup sticks about to fall. It's autumn in Pennsylvania. It's autumn in Pennsylvania, and the leaves are very dressed up in their finest colors. Nails painted yellow, very fancy trees standing on tiptoes. Then there is a dance, leaves fly, and a fox scurries. Again, a poem is coming on. I feel a poem coming on, I feel a poem coming on, I feel a poem coming on. A rush is rushing, I feel a poem coming on. The artist palette of autumn leaves yelling at me to receive and take back to the land, to where there isn't any colors. Where trees remain barren, even though sun shines and breezes twirl. I feel a poem rising up as though I'm going to sneeze. Bright, brilliant colors of autumn specialties. A poem has arrived. Welcome in poem. Here, unpack and move in. Orange trees, so huge. There was one tree, it looked like it had oranges on it. The leaves were all orange. If you can imagine, it looked like an orange tree, because we don't have orange trees in Pennsylvania. Orange trees so huge and colorful. Autumn breeze plucks leaves off, yet keeps them under the tree. Sometimes wind steals leaves and carries them away. Colorful autumn quilt. Colorful autumn quilt, cozying me with snugness up around my ears, autumn colors vibrating. Now I want to go on another trip with you. This time to Little River, which is up in Northern California near Bodega Bay, near Albion. Oh, you've got to go to Little River. The town of Little River, it's the darndest thing. You go, I want to go see the town of Little River. So you go, and there's nothing. You look at your GPS, that's supposed to be the town. So you go around, do it again. There's nothing. No town in Little River, and that's what makes it so wonderful. So I'm going back. I want to go back to Little River. There's wonderful restaurants up there. But it's all, you know, the Northern California coast, which I love so much. And that's what Little River is. It's all Northern California coast. You get all of the waves and the rocks and the beaches that you could possibly enjoy. Some waves keep coming to hard rock, wanting to be accepted by rock. But instead, the rock keeps shutting down, but still waves keep trying and trying to connect with rocks. That fascinates me. I could sit, we were in Santa Cruz at the coffee shop, and there was a wave there, there was a boulder there, and these waves kept coming in, and I was mesmerized. The waitress kept saying, well, have a nice day, trying to get rid of us. I couldn't budge. I was hypnotized by this big old rock and the waves coming in. Some waves keep coming, all right. I like to pull up blankets up. I like to pull blankets up around my ears, up close and cozy. Rocks like to pull ocean up around its ears, up close and cozy. It looks as though rocks are sleeping, but they still pull blankets of waves up around their ears. Oh, my watch. Don't do that. It's moving too fast. I wish you could be like this. Have you ever thought in your life when you're in a really wonderful situation, I wish Pompeii would happen right now, and we would be like this forever. Do you ever feel like that? No? You don't? No. Okay. I do sometimes. Right now I'm thinking, okay, Pompeii. The rocks get blacker the longer I watch them. They get blacker and harsher. Points of rock longer. The rocks get blacker longer I watch them. I want to write about rocks sitting in the middle of the bay. Is it a whale that froze while spouting, or a boulder that walked off from other boulders? One time I was up there in Humboldt County looking out at waves, and a squirrel came and walked over my toes. I thought, boy, this is the closest I've ever been to wildlife. Then I realized, I guess they expect me to feed it. Does it feel nice for rocks to have waves curl up and wrap around like feathery shawls around rock shoulders? What do rocks hold on to? What do rocks hold on to? Waves trying to erase over and over? What do rocks hold on to? Waves trying to erase over and over? Fell asleep exhausted. Fell asleep exhausted. As a 6-year-old, I woke up after a long sleep. As an 83-year-old with 6-year-old spirit. The quiet perfumes me and holds me gently in the palm of its hand. Quiet whispers to me sweet praise of my work. I smile outside and inside. The clock is playing tricks on me. I'm going to go fast forward and take you to the redwoods. I want to be sure you get to the redwoods with me. We just got back from the redwoods. I love going up there. I love Avenue of the Giants and Founders Grove. Love it. The silence in redwoods absorbs me totally. Every cell of my body connects perfectly with every cell of the silence. Together we are one, united perfectly, connected. Today redwoods, all dressed up, ready to welcome us. I'm breathing deep of breath surrounding me. The path welcomes my feet, while spotlights accentuate select views. If I hold my breath and am perfectly still, hopefully I will diffuse into this green paradise. Would my role be that of a tiny bug, a tiny invisible bug, blending in so perfectly? You know what amazes me about Founders Grove? The minute you get there, and it might be very crowded in the parking lot, there might even be some litter in the parking lot, but the minute you set foot into Founders Grove, it's just heaven, redwood heaven. Quiet, peaceful, so very bright in places. So very bright in places, then so dark in places. Wish cosmic vacuum cleaner would soak up people's chatter, which is the litter in the redwoods, and jar into the sacred space. I'm sitting in the sun, but wish could sit in the shade. Has too many days of excitement over this beauty worn me and the springs of my creativity down. Moon journey. Moon looks for me and follows me along. The moon stares at me long, so long, other people must be looking up for the moon tonight. But it's too close to us and not going anywhere else. Feeling energy from the moon, taking a moon bath, moon pouring its energy onto me and to you. Feels like to be in meditation. Feels like to be in meditation here in the Redwood Grove. Silence all around, and more silence after silence. My pen and pad stand erect to receive my poems. The Save the Redwood League is very good about publishing my poems. I've been a member since I was about 20, when I had a different name. But I had a lifetime member, so I'll always be a member no matter what my last name is. And they do publish my poems, which is nice. Writing poetry feels like taking a shower and ending up feeling refreshed and clean. Trees standing erect. Trees standing erect, standing like church choir singers, wearing green instead of white. I'd like to do that again. Trees standing erect. Trees standing erect, standing like church choir singers, wearing green instead of white. I wanted to send a redwood tree to the farm, that I was telling you about that's still there where I grew up. And I couldn't send it from the redwoods, so guess what I did? I looked it up on Amazon. And they sent it there. The next day, they got a tree from the redwoods. How do you like that? I don't know what to think of that. Maybe I'll send everybody a redwood tree for Christmas. Breezes tiptoe up to me. Breezes tiptoe up to me and whispers, glad you're here, welcome. Breezes have not woken up yet. Hawk has something to say. What is it? Do not know the language of his announcement. Walking on my toes and walking on tiptoes looks like a 5,000 pieces puzzle with lots of little pieces of green. Wrinkles on the face bark of single sitting tree. Back in Redwoods. I was just at Botanical Garden the other day. They have a redwood grove there, which is really nice. And I wrote a lot of poems there. I'm going to read them tomorrow for the conference call. It's just here in our backyard, we've got a redwood grove. Back in Redwoods. So good to be back into the home of the redwoods. The very second I step into the redwood forest, it feels like not one branch has changed at all. All is perfect since I left. Nothing has changed. At the redwoods. At the redwoods, I said to the trees, you are taller, you are grown. The truth is, I have shrunk 1 inch. Redwoods getting taller and I'm getting shorter. Still, we connect perfectly. We have perfect connection. From the very second I stepped into the redwood forest, some perfect connection. As have enjoyed each time went there. I've been journeying to the redwoods. With different last names, still my redwood community embraces me and happy to see me. The redwoods are getting taller while I'm getting shorter. I went to the redwoods once with my nephew, and he was climbing on top of, they have signs, do not climb on the trees. Well, he was climbing on the trees. And I said, Kenny, you better give me your keys to your car. And Kenny, what's your girlfriend's number in case you fall off the redwood? And I'll never forget that. All I see of humans and the backs is the backs of their hats. If it was a human, would it have moved? But this hat does not move. Oh, the nasty clock. Oh gosh, I wish we could stay longer. But I want to tell you some other things, please. I do a conference call for Front Porch, and I've done it for, I don't know how many years. And it's the third Thursday, and I read my poetry for a month. And people call in, and they have people from all over the country. I get people saying, my name is Betty Lou, and I'm from Alabama, Mississippi. And mine, I mean, all kinds of accents. I have regulars. Helen here is a regular. David's a regular. And I wanted to invite you. It's very easy, but you have to sign up with the headquarters of Front Porch. And then I wanted to say, if anybody wants a copy of my latest book, it's here, it's free. I'd love to have you have copies. Or if you have a copy and you want to give a copy to someone, help yourself. And then here's my card. Remember, I'd like to have you all come to me and tell me your travel stories. And any poems you might have written. You know, I love finding a poet here and there, and they go, oh, I've never shown these to anybody. Like they were some contraband. And they're beautiful poems. So there must be some treasures here I'd love to hear. And I don't want to stop, but I want to hear from you if anybody wants to say anything before the clock starts. Anyone want to say anything?
Thank you. I love the joy.
The joy?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Laura. I love your joy too. Your newsletter is so upbeat.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's always so upbeat. I always feel uplifted by reading it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, they're delicious treats back there. And thank you all for coming. I also, there's a man named John Rowe who's head of Bay Area's Poets Coalition. And he runs a Zoom every 3 months. It's an honor of me and my friends. And if anyone wants to be on the email list for that, or any of the other things that I do, I got a pad and a paper here.